Trek Geeks Podcast Network and the Divine Treasury are proud to have Fansets as its presenting sponsor. Stay tuned for a special discount code worth 10% off your order at fansets.com. Fansets, our pins have character.
This episode is also sponsored by Science Division, the makers of the world's first interactive Tribble. Stay tuned for a discount code to bring a Tribble into your home today. Science Division. Trouble's never been this fun.
The divine treasury is made of pure latinum.
So TNG had 10 Forward. Deep Space Nine had Quark's Bar. So right now I am making an executive decision that I have no authority to make, but the hangout at Podfleet Command will henceforth be named the Rewind Lounge in honor of our guest on this episode. I, of course, am Mike Bovia, and as always, I'm joined by Jamie Rogers, who, as we were discussing in the Patreon portion, is trying to figure out where he's going to put things that he gets at the 55-year mission in just a few weeks.
Yeah, obviously, as you know, Mike, I'm transitioning from jobs. You know, as many of you know, I work at UPS, and I'm leaving there after 20 years to go to another job. So I got to be a little bit more conservative now with my purchases, but I'm just trying to kind of figure out where I'm going to put some of, how deeply I'm going to go into the Picard autographs with the 8x10s with some of the people that are there, whether it's Michelle Hurd or Evan Evagora or Issa Briones. So we'll see, but you know me, I'll spend a lot of sleepless nights trying to reconfigure that Star Trek wall.
Well, I know one thing. If I were you, if there was only one that you were going to get, I'd make it Michelle Hurd, since you don't have her as part of the Picard card series, because she was not part of that. Just an innocent bystander making suggestions.
But you know she will be part of series 2. You know,
of course she will. Yeah.
You know he got her autograph already. It's one of those missing numbers.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. So as always, we're going to dive into the new merchandise that's coming to the market, and since we have not done an episode in quite a while,
it's been over a month.
I know. Well, you've had the job thing going on. I've had some health issues going on, as well as, work just being crazy for me as well. I think every place you work, summertime is just the craziest time, either production wise or everybody's wanting to take vacations. So people are shorthanded. So it's been a rough go for the last few weeks, I think, for both of us.
Right. I know it's been a while since we've done this, but there's a lot of new products to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about, Mike, was the new Steelbook Blu-rays for the original series. Obviously going to be commemorating the 55th anniversary. And I really like this, how this set looks. Looks really sharp. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the Fansets pins that just came out, the anniversary ones, with how the red, and the gold and the blue, how it looks and that kind of streaking motion. It looks really sharp, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty sharp. Despite the fact that I have a Steelbook collection going right now, I probably will not get this one, only for the simple fact that the only reason I would buy it is just for it to be in Steelbook. I got the original series Blu-rays back during the 50th anniversary. I got that set, and it came with the animated series set. So, and that's a nice looking display box too. It would be one thing if it was being released in 4K, then maybe I would consider it. But I think I'm just going to stick with what I got.
Yeah, it is coming out September 7th, kind of commemorating when the original series, around that same time when the original series was coming out. But it looks beautiful. Like I said, beautiful looking set. I don't think I'm going to be picking it up. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the steel books like you are. But definitely a sharp looking set for those that are into steel books for sure.
And speaking of sharp looking, so Mego is releasing some figures that will hearken you back to their original days. So they have been doing figures all along these past few years. They've been doing an 8-inch figure, and they're still continuing that series. In fact, they're going to have a Kang. I don't really want to call it a doll figure. They'll have a Kang figure coming out later this year, as well as Commander William Riker from TNG in that 8-inch standard. But they're going to a full 14-inch action figure. So this is along the lines of what they used to have. And as of right now, it's going to be just Kirk, Spock, and of course, you can't make a Mego figure without including the Gorn. And the Gorn actually looks pretty cool in this release.
You mean it's not brown with
nope.
the wrong clothing?
No, this thing is pretty well detailed. It looks the picture I'm looking at right now, it looks like it belongs in Arena. Right down to he's got the universal translator on his belt. It's really cool.
Yeah, nice. So another new, since we were on that topic, I was talking about the Blu-rays, something that I had kind of talked about on Weekly Trek when I was a guest on that appearance. We were kind of hinting that there was a rumor out there that the first 4 Star Trek films were possibly going to get a 4K upgrade. Now, CBS and Paramount have officially announced that is going to happen. So what we're going to be getting is a 4K upgrade in Blu-ray, 4K, I should say, of the theatrical edition of the motion picture. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is going to be the theatrical and the director's edition. Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, and Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home are all going to get that 4K remaster. So they'll be available for pre-order very shortly. Well, actually, no, they're available for pre-order now, I should say. So this is something, like I said, we kind of hinted at on Weekly Trek, and a lot of people are going to be excited out there. Obviously, I hope that they eventually do all the movies, but I'm assuming that they're doing it kind of in these little bunches of 4, because it can be quite cost prohibitive with how expensive 4K DVDs are.
Yeah, so I looked on Amazon, and these are the pre-order right now is $98.99 for these 4 movies. So I mean, as much as I really, really want these in 4K, I may hold off for a bit, just because the thing that I really want in 4K is the director's edition of the motion picture.
Yeah.
So I would assume that something is going to be done around that. So I'm going to wait and see what happens. I mean, potentially when that comes out, they'll do a 6 movie box set. I don't know. But I am looking forward to upgrading those to 4K at some point or another.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to delve. I mean, I do have a 4K TV and a 4K player, but they're just too expensive right now for me to delve into that universe. So probably not for a while. I'll be getting those. It's probably not till the distant future, I would say.
Along the same lines as that Resican flute that Jamie and I talk about on each episode, So Factory Entertainment, they're the ones who created the replica prop for sale of that Resican flute very recently. Now, Factory Entertainment is also the ones that brought us the Excelsior and Enterprise A teacup sets that were modeled after the sets that were used in the Undiscovered Country. And again, as we said, the Resican flutes. So now they have put together a Star Trek The Next Generation medical prop set, replica of the hypo spray and the hand scanner that have been used in pretty much all of the Next Generation episodes. But the hypo spray will feature a sound effect of the hiss that was done when it was pressed to a person. So these are going to have an early order price of $374.99 if you are interested in something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And that or I guess they're actually available for pre-order now, and they will be delivered to customers in the spring of 2022. So the pre-order price, like we said, is $374.99. The retail price is going to be $399.99 starting August 9th. I believe both of those, going back to like the X06 figures, require an upfront deposit that's non-refundable. That way they know because of the price point, they want to know you're actually interested in this before they start production on it.
Wow. Yeah, that's it's going to be a little out of Jamie's price range for right now.
Well, and I as cool as I think some of these things are, you have to be like an Alex Perry that is really into, like, he's into the actual screen use props.
Well, that's my point, is like, I mean, I wouldn't see him spending this kind of money on
something that's not screen used.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he'd rather just, get the screen used,
right? But I mean, you got to be someone of that ilk who's into collecting either, in his case, it's the screen use, but there's a lot of people out there that want something that looks
close.
Yeah. I mean, you think of Jim with his phaser collection.
Yeah.
None of those are screen used, but he does pay a pretty decent amount for the ones that he wants because of the work that goes into producing them. But like the phasers, I really think they're cool, but it's not my thing. It would have to be I'll tell you what, if any of these places made a captain's chair, guess who's on the list?
Oh, yeah.
But other than that,
you're going to have problems with X06 very shortly, I think. When they start whipping out these captain's chairs for all these captains.
I know. But that's the latest from Factory Entertainment. Again, putting out some cool stuff if you are interested in that. It also comes with a very cool collector's case. If anyone has like a watch case, that's what it looks like. Something to display your watches, except this displays all the pieces, and there's a nice little plaque inside it as well. Okay, it's a limited edition plaque within it that has the actual number. It's going to be a numbered thing. It just says medical scanner and hypo spray. All
right. So now we're going to talk some more about our good friends at Eagle Moss, Hero Collector. Some new additions that are on their way in October to the official Star Trek Starships collection. They really seem to be on this Romulan kick for some reason in Picard. So they got the official Starships collection is going to add the Star Trek Picard Romulan flagship. So this was the one that Commander O was captaining in Arcadia Ego Part 2, that flagship. So that looks pretty nice. I will say it's very wide though, 5.5 inches wide. So you're definitely going to have to clear some some space east to west on your bookshelf for that one. Some other items that are coming out as well to the XL collection, the USS Pegasus. So that'd be the Oberth class, a rebranding of the Grissom from the original series there. That'll be issue number 28 of the XL collection. And then we also have the Star Trek Online Starships collection, the Damar class, Cardassian Science Dreadnought. So those are some new additions to Eagle Moss Hero Collector that we have to look forward to.
They named a science class after Damar, huh? Interesting. Yep. Well, last but certainly not least in our list of new releases, many a guest of ours has talked about the collections that they have from when they were kids of the Playmates action figures from the 90s. Well, about a week ago, Playmates announced that in conjunction with Paramount CBS, that they will be going into production in 2022 for action figures again for the Star Trek franchise, featuring all of the new Kurtzman era shows, if you will, Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, and they said that they will be producing figures for Prodigy as well. Now, they also said that they're going to continue to produce future selections from the expansive Star Trek universe too. So I would assume that means when when Strange New Worlds comes out, we'll get some Strange New Worlds figures. Potentially that Section 31 series, we'll get something from that. But as well as the motion pictures. So I am guessing maybe we'll see some new releases of the Kelvin timeline. You never know, but it's pretty cool because, again, everybody that we talk to has a story about their Playmates collection from when they were a kid.
Yep. And I am definitely one of them as well.
Now, here's the question. And I'll probably put this out on Twitter as well. Knowing what the 90s Playmate figures go for today, if you were to buy the new ones, on card, or does it matter?
Right now it would be on card because that's how I have the collection right now from the 90s. I mean, obviously I have most of them loose, but I've gone back now and done the on card, thing recently. So they'd be on card for sure.
Yeah.
Plus I don't have anywhere really to display them either. That's the other issue. So
mine would be on shelf probably, or on computer screen or somewhere else. Like I have a Art Asylum Con that is sitting on the top shelf because he was made to sit in a chair. So he's sitting on the top shelf overlooking everything. So after we've gone over what is coming to the market, we then discuss the things that are new to our shelves. And Jamie, you said you've got quite a list since it's been a little bit since we got together and discussed this stuff. So why don't you regale us with your collection?
Yeah, I want listeners, I wouldn't get too excited because my lists aren't going to be this big anymore for a little while, at least while I transition into a new line of work here. But it is a pretty big list considering that, obviously we haven't recorded in over a month. So I'll start going through some of them right now. So the first thing, and I actually got it today, is I got my season 3 of Discovery Blu-ray. So excited to check out some of those special features. I also was able, and I've been looking for this set for a while, and it's a little bit of a harder set to get. It's the Heroes and Villains movie set, the base cards. All right. And this, it's just always like a little too pricey for me when I've seen them, the rare times I've seen it on eBay. And it's basically because it was a really tough set to put together back when the set came out. The cards are numbered to 550, which is weird for a base set. But I remember, I've had conversations with Kevin, my card guy, and he talked about horror stories about trying to put this, base set together. It was very, very difficult. It took a lot of, boxes, a lot of cases to do it. So, one that I was looking to see kind of cheaper, and it, I basically had refused not to get it until it was a certain price, and, one became available. So I have that. I don't have card number 55 yet, which is the redemption, the points redemption card from Rittenhouse of Admiral Kirk. So I'll look to get that pretty soon, once I start trading some of my points in. But right now I got that Heroes and Villains movie set, that 54 card set. Some other things that I got as well. I did get a couple shipments from Eagle Moss. I got the Spock jellyfish ship that came in. That's the special edition. I also got the one I was dreading to come because it's going to take up a ton of room, but the XL Klingon Bird of Prey, that one came in. So right now I'm kind of looking forward to hopefully getting the All Good Things Enterprise and the XLs. And then I think I'm pretty much going to be done with the XLs at that point. But I did get that, like I said, that Klingon Bird of Prey. I did get 3 more of the Legends of Trek cards that I had ordered the last time we recorded. They finally came in from Canada. So I got a Patrick Stewart, the LA2 card, the Avery Brooks, the LA4, and then the Jerry Ryan, the LA7. So right now, the only Legends of Trek card that's currently been released that I don't have is the Captain Kirk one. So I also did get another shipment from the Enterprise D build. I got pack number 5, which is kits 15, 16, 17, and 18. So pack 15 was basically your skeleton of the snakehead from the Star Drive section. Some more skeletal supports. 16 was more skeletal supports for the saucer section. And then 17 was the last skeletal support of the actual top of the saucer section. So now that skeletal support is complete. It also came with the battle bridge in that pack 17. And then pack 18 had the top of that snakehead from the Star Drive section. And then also some more saucer components. Wasn't a very involved set of 4 kits. They didn't take very long to put together, but I will say I have another, I did get this a few weeks ago. So I have another shipment that's close to coming in. Pack number 6, which is kits 19 through 22. And I really can't wait to get this one. This is going to be a very involved group of kits, because basically it's going to be starting to put some of the saucer section pieces onto the top of the saucer section skeleton. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And from what I've seen of videos of, like, Wayne from the World of Wayne and some of those guys on YouTube that are doing this build, it's very, very involved. And, I really look forward to being able to do that as kind of a, a little diversion for everything that's been going on in my life recently.
Well, while we've been sitting here talking about this, Brandon on Twitter has been mentioning us in his tweets, because you and him have been going back and forth on this on this build.
I know. I'm so jealous of Brendan, because he got one of those special offers, like a discount where he could get like, you know, whatever, 12 issues or 16 issues for a discounted price. And I haven't gotten one of those offers yet. So he's like way ahead of me now, you know? So, yeah, he's like showing me some of these crazy pictures, but I can't believe how nice that Star Drive section looks with all lit up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So going back to your movies, heroes and villains, how old is that set? So and the reason I asked that is that redemption card still available on the Rittenhouse site?
It is still available. I mean, I've seen it on eBay, but it's not a lot. I think it's only like 300 something points.
Yeah, some of the older stuff is a lot less, I've noticed.
So, you know, I don't want to order it until I, you know, obviously order my CP10. So once I get that all kind of squared away, I'm going to do the CP10 in that with my points, but I haven't accumulated all those points yet. So
gotcha.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. And like I said, I have seen it on eBay. So, you know, at some point, if it were to disappear from the website, I'd be able to get it.
Yeah. Well, I don't have nearly as large a list as Jamie. I did pick up a few things here and there. I believe I've talked about this, but maybe I haven't. Maybe it was just you and I that were chatting. So my wife and I were walking through an antique store, and I found an original, like pretty mint Star Trek Encyclopedia, the original pink one, pink, purple, whatever you want to call it. And it was $2. I mean, I couldn't go wrong, especially when I looked at, like, I picked it up, I flipped through it to see if there was like writing in it or anything like that. Nothing in it. It looked like it's just been sitting on a shelf since the person bought it. So beautiful. I threw it on my shelf. Looks great on there. I also picked up a few more Discovery Season 2 autograph cards. You know, like I've mentioned, Picard was the highlight, so people were not paying as much attention to Discovery. So I got some good deals on some stuff. I got the last of the Sunico Martin Green dual signature cards with someone else from that set. This one was with Sonia Sohn, who played Gabrielle Burnham, her mom. I also got Mary Wiseman and Hannah Cheeseman, Tilly and Ariam as a dual set. There was a number of Inscription autograph cards I picked up, and then some of the other more common, maybe very limited cards as opposed to just the regular limiteds. I picked up an assortment of cards there as well. Like Jamie, I got in my Season 3 Discovery. Mine, however, was a steelbook, because that's what I do. And I actually, before we started recording today, finished off all of the special features. A few people online have made some complaints about there not being any audio commentary on this, but I'll save some of that information for when we get together with Kyle and we do a review of the Season 3 set. Kyle from treknews.net. I came back from a trip this week and had a Funko Pop of Captain Kirk in his captain's chair waiting for me. Nice looking Funko. Of course, it goes to my captain's chair collection, but very happy to get that in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some of those. I think you ordered yours from Funko and I ordered mine from Target. So waiting for them to get their stock and supply in for sure. So yeah, we'll see. I also haven't gotten the X06 yet. So we'll see when that comes in. Now
you're waiting on the
because I had
data, right?
Yeah, I had to get it. Yeah, I had to get it from one of those other distributors. So I would expect that should be coming out pretty soon, I would think.
You would think, yeah. The last thing I've got on my list is when Fansets put out the pre-order for the Strange New Worlds badges. I actually picked up 4 of them. I got 2 of the pins, and then I got 2 of the magnets. And I will say the magnet badge looks gorgeous on my Pike uniform. I really love how it looks. And if I can get my fat body into it, I may be wearing it in Las Vegas. Maybe. We'd like to take a moment to talk about Fansets, the presenting sponsor of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network and the Divine Treasury.
Did you know that it's been 5 years since Fansets has been providing us with top-notch merchandise? It's hard to believe, but in that time, they've been providing us with offerings from all different types of fandoms, including Scooby-Doo, DC Comics, Batman 66, Harry Potter, and Rick and Morty.
But since all we talk about here at the Divine Treasury is Star Trek-related merchandise, we'll talk about their over 300 licensed pins that they've put out in such a short time, that 5 years. Things from their microcrew pins that they started with that everybody loves to collect. They have anniversary sets. Now they've delved into the Delta badges. All of these things are available at the Fansets website. Now, they release new merchandise on the 1st and the 15th of every month. And this month on the 15th, they released the Enterprise 20th anniversary pin, as well as the First Contact 25th anniversary pin. Also recently released. Now, these were some special releases. These were not even on the release dates. This was just Lou and John and even Joe just saying, hey, we've got something cool we want to put out there. So available on their website now. From Star Trek Picard, the full-size visitor badge in magnet form. Also, now this is really cool. If you watched season 3 of Discovery, you saw that awesome Tricom Delta badge that they got when they went to the future. Well, you can have for yourself now, if you order, you can order the pin version of that. You can pre-order the magnet for cosplay, if that's what you like to do. The pre-order will be available for delivery in August. Now, the guys at Fansets have asked, however, that if you are going to be attending the 55-year mission in Las Vegas and you want those Tricom Deltas, please make the purchases at the show. That way, those who are not attending can be able to have access to the ones that are available for general purchase.
As a listener to the show, you can receive 10% off your next order from Fansets by using the code DIVINE, that's DIVINE, at checkout. And remember that you receive free shipping in the U.S. on orders $30 or more.
The Divine Treasury has a couple of characters. Fansets, their pins have character. And we thank Fansets for being the presenting sponsor of the Divine Treasury and the Trek Geeks Podcast Network. So on each episode of the Divine Treasury, we look for a collector of all things Star Trek, and we see what's gotten them into the hobby and what they have. You've heard our guest for this episode on the network in a couple of different places. She made her podcasting debut on the network as the co-host of Rewind a couple years back. Then she became part of the roundtable of Discovering Trek for Lower Decks in Season 3 Discovery. I don't know if you can really call it a roundtable, but whatever. And now she carries that torch forward with Enterprise. We welcome to the Divine Treasury, Sara B. How's it going, Sara?
Oh my goodness, I've done so many podcasts. I was like, when did all this happen? COVID, man. Time to do some podcasting.
Exactly. That's how this one was born. It's like we were just chatting back and forth, and he finally said, "Hey, why don't we see if we can do a podcast on the network? See if they'll take us."
We're already talking. Let's just record it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
So are we. And we've actually been talking about this, I think, since like the first meeting that we had on the network after we had joined. As just your schedule, our schedule, back and forth, and it's finally happening. So we're happy to have you.
The magic is happening. Yeah, that's the reality of it, right? We're in different time zones, different countries.
Oh God, yeah.
We have jobs and families, and oof.
So, Sara, what time is it right now where you are?
5:07.
5:07. Well, that's not too bad.
I got 3 hours on me, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Not too bad.
What happens 3 hours in the future?
Anything exciting? I finished my second beer.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right.
Well, we are very excited. I'm a big fan of Rewind. Been faithful since the beginning. And I love the fact that you guys thought that the Naked Now was definitely a see it. So
me too.
That's all I'm going to say about that. I love that episode. Couldn't believe they did it as a skip it. I mean, all I think about is being a young, strapping young lad watching that Tasha and Data scene, and and there
are so many cool memes around that too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's that scene, that episode's great. So
my only thing
what they're talking about
is I would like to have seen that episode done further into the series when there's like
more character development. Everybody better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's too bad that USS Grissom had to be used again.
Mm-hmm.
For that
it would have been better too if Wesley didn't save the day.
Right. They should have done it every season. They come across a ship with frozen people. They're like, "Oh my God, we can't escape this." Every season it happens.
The one-off drunk episode every season.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start off our questions with if there's anything outside of Star Trek that you collect.
Ooh, that is a list of stuff. I'm a product of my father, who is a collector and pack rat and hoarder of collectibles. Like, he used to metal detect and like go to England and metal detect. So he's got like cool old like coins, and then he was into sports cards. So I grew up in a house that just had stuff. So for me, I also collect Walking Dead merchandise. I have some really good first appearance comics, including Michonne and a couple other characters. I have a signed Kirkman that I won recently, which is really exciting, and lots of action figures. I collect mid-century modern like knickknacks and stuff. Like I have some velvet paintings and a Black Panther lamp from the 70s and a bunch of tiki stuff because I built a tiki bar in the basement. So, and then other than that, just other random action figures of like shows that I like. I'll pick up pieces when I'm traveling. So there'd be like looking at all the stuff I have, monsters, like old MGM monsters, and some Funko stuff and 80s toys like Muppet Babies and like the McDonald's toys and Game of Thrones and just The Office, like just shows that I like. I'll see something, I'll be like, I'm going to add that toy to my collection. So
right, nice. I forgot about The Office.
Yeah, a big Office fan here. Office? Love The Office.
The best.
But I got a question, Sara. So obviously I've never seen The Walking Dead, but Sunico Martin Green was on the show, right?
She was.
Okay. So what were your opinions of Sunico Martin Green on The Walking Dead prior to her coming on Discovery?
She was great. She was on the series for maybe 4 or 5 seasons. She had a really big character, and but that show has such a huge cast, and they go through people so fast, and people die, that I don't let myself get attached to characters on that show like I would in the world of Star Trek, because it breaks my heart every time. So when her character, spoiler alert, died on The Walking Dead, I was really happy to see that they did like a really good like story closeout for her character, really, really good. And I knew at that point that she was going over to Star Trek, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best. Like to lose someone from a show you love, to see them going somewhere else that you love is always exciting. And that's what I've been loving about Discovery, is these different people are popping up, like Rainn Wilson, and now Admiral Vance from like the Scorpion King and all these other things. I'm like, this is so cool that these people are joining our universe.
Yeah.
And they're never going to get away from us.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because I remember Sunico Martin Green was like the first person. She was really like number one on their list, and they couldn't get her because she was on the show, and then all of a sudden her character gets killed off, and she basically fell in their lap. So I'm always excited to hear that story. But obviously we're here on a Star Trek podcast. So what are some of the things that you collect as far as Star Trek items go?
For me, it's a combination of, well, keeping myself under control because of space, but I find that I'm buying back a lot of stuff that I got rid of from my childhood. You know, I started watching Star Trek when I was 10. So that would have been 1990. So that's like the middle of the TNG height. And that's when all those TNG toys were coming out, all the action figures, the bridge, and like all those great toys. So I had a lot of them when I was a kid. And now I would sell them when I was like 16 or 17 because I wanted makeup or whatever the stupid crap I wanted when I was a teenager. And so I kind of try to find it now. And the thing is I live on an island in Canada. My options are limited, and I'm not paying $30 shipping for this item on eBay that costs $12. So for me, it's like my big thing is when I travel, you know, like I was in Texas, and I found like this like barn that was like an antique mall, and I like found a hoard of Star Trek stuff, and I was like, yes, like I've never seen this before. It's probably really common for you guys, but they were maybe action figures that didn't make their way. So for me, it's just kind of that nostalgia of picking up stuff that I used to have, or I always wanted when I was a kid and I couldn't get it.
Oh, that's awesome. I loved that bridge set. I mean, when I tell you I played the heck out of that bridge set, it's like, in fact, what's funny is, so I had the bridge set when I was a kid, and like some of the pieces were a little broken on it. Like, I don't even know if the turbolift doors open, and I begged my father to get a transporter, like begged him. And like, I used to put the transporter like right outside the turbo lift. And like, I'd even have Q in the captain's uniform, like sub in for Picard every once in a while, do all sorts of stuff. But I had a flood like at my house several years ago, and I lost that bridge playset. I was so disappointed. But then all of a sudden, like my son, as he was growing up, like he wanted my old Playmates figurines. So perfect opportunity for me to buy him another bridge playset,
or buy
another bridge playset. So now he's like 11. He plays guitar now. He's like not into the Star Trek toys anymore. So the bridge playset has, you know, made it back home.
And the last time I was there, it's about 10 feet from where he's sitting right now.
Yeah.
Still there?
Oh, you'll see it. You'll see it when we're done, Sarah.
Yeah. I saw one for sale at there's a toy shop in town that would do a big toy show twice a year at like one of the big arenas, and people would sell like, you know, it's like a garage sale, but it's all toys. And I saw it a couple times, but I just don't have, it's so big. It's so big and clunky that I'm like, unless this is going to be the centerpiece of my dining room table, I don't have anywhere to put this thing. So
like the first time around, I think I got it at like a secondhand store. So like some of the pieces were missing and stuff like that. Like everything worked, but the second time around, I got it like brand new. So like I remember even like putting it together, like putting it, like my son wanted to like help me with the stickers, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. I have to put the stickers on correctly. You can't help me with this. Because I had to be like perfect.
And that was the first clue that you bought it for you and not for Blake.
That is absolutely untrue. Lie as you tell. It was definitely for my son.
So it sounds like you and not sounds like. By your description, you and I are the exact same age. So that being said, was it just watching TNG at the time that made you like want to have either the toys or going forward in life be like, I got to have a piece of the franchise for myself?
Yeah, I don't know what it was about that show and the obsession that followed that captured me. I mean, I was 10 and I was like, this was coming off like the New Kids on the Block. Like that is so left field from Star Trek. And I saw
Vanilla
it on TV.
Ice and MC Hammer.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack to Wayne's World and Mo Money or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Right? Cassette tape had it. And so I watched it. I think I saw an episode of the original series and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like it's colorful and whatever. But then I started watching TNG and there's something about it that I idolized the women on it. And I was like, when I grow up, I want to be beautiful like Troy, or I want to be, you know, smart like Dr. Crusher. And it was that like hero worship. And so I wanted to buy the stuff and I wanted the posters on the wall and I wanted I just surround myself when I get really into something and I just like to look at it and it puts me in a good mood. So as a kid, I wanted the toys and I was spoiled rotten and I got the toys and there would be like special, cookies that would be Star Trek, or there would be the cereal that would have the toy in it. So I would keep the box, or I would keep the box of cookies and never even open the cookies, but I just wanted the box because it had a Ferengi on it. Or the potato chips would have like these little trading cards in them. And I think we bought like Costco potato chips and to get the set of these stupid little cards, which I still have binders full. My dad still finds them when he's cleaning up his garage. I found some more of those cards for you. I'm like, sweet.
That is so
put them aside.
Awesome.
Like, I still need a full set. I'm missing like one, but yeah. So I had a whole room that was Star Trek when I was a kid, and I think I don't know why it lasted so long because none of my friends liked it. None of my friends liked Star Trek. None of my parents didn't care. Like they watched it if I was in the room watching it, but it was my thing. And it was always my thing until I met Haley in my 20s. Like it was, yeah. So I just kind of surrounded myself by it because I was an only child and I amused myself. So I would just be like playing in my room with all my Star Trek stuff. And then it kind of moved and then it became 90210 or whatever other stupid thing comes in at 13 or 14 or whatever. Right.
I wanted to be a player like Riker, but that didn't work out very well for me. So
oh, Riker, how my opinions of him have changed as I've gotten older and I've rewatched some of his episodes.
I just wanted to be able to sit down in a chair like Riker. That's all I wanted in life.
Yeah.
I wasn't tall enough at the time to be able to do the chair walkover that he could do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I wish I had more photos from that time. I think there's probably a couple of family albums hiding somewhere at my dad's house because I went to conventions in Vancouver, BC in the 90s. And the first convention I ever went to actually was in Seattle, but it was Sir Patrick Stewart, I'm sorry. And that was such an eye-opener because that would have been like in 91 maybe. And there was like all this merchandise I'd never seen before and all these weird toys that never came to Canada. And then, I did never dressed up, but I remember getting the Bajoran earring and I was wearing it when I got my autograph from Nana. And she was like, that looks really good on you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like, this is so exciting. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think my first was in 91 too. And same thing. It's like Shatner was there, but I was more blown away by how much merchandise was there. Yeah. And it's just like, oh my goodness. And yeah, I walked away with a comm badge pin.
Nice.
That was my big haul. Although no, because stupid me as a kid left it on a shirt, which then went through the washer and dryer and melted the pin backs off.
Gosh, darn it.
And I think I had it for years, even afterwards. I just stuck it in a box. Yeah. And somewhere after getting married and making multiple moves, it got lost somewhere. So such is life.
You know what's the crazy part, Sarah, is he still hasn't even been to Vegas yet, so he hasn't even seen that vendor's room yet.
You've never you've been to Vegas, just not Star Trek Vegas?
No, I haven't.
Nope. I've been a few times. We're right on the cusp of talking about going this year.
With our wives, believe it or not.
With our wives, believe it or not.
Do they like Star Trek?
So my wife, she's nowhere near close to like what I am. She likes TNG. Mm-hmm. Loathes the original series. Mm-hmm. Loathes the animated series. So like when I was doing my rewatch of those two, she wasn't in the room. She hates it, but she likes TNG. She's like 50-50 on, like she'll watch it with me, but she's she'd rather watch like Real Housewives of New Jersey or something like that.
But that's the beauty of Vegas, is that they can F off and go shopping and go do whatever they want to do. Cause that's how it works with my boyfriend's like, he doesn't love Star Trek. He doesn't hate it, but he's never watched it voluntarily until he was forced to watch it if I have it on. And he sat through all of Picard. He's like, that was pretty good. And he likes the movies, but Vegas is like Vegas. So if he's just like, you know what, you do you, I'm going to go hit the bar and I'm going to go sit and I'm going to drink a lot of beer. And I'm like, that's cool. Cause I don't have to worry about it. I don't feel guilty cause he's into car shows and I go to car shows. And then I'm like, all right, I've seen this car 5 times, I think. So I'm going to go find that beer garden. And there's like a band over there and I'm just going to go chill out. You do you. And I think that's why it works, is that understanding of like, I know what it is to have an obsession and so does he. So it's okay to indulge in it.
Yeah.
He doesn't go to the car convention in Las Vegas, does he?
Yeah, every year. Except it didn't happen last year. SEMA.
Because I used to work for a company that we went every year, and I was in the opposite end of the company where we dealt with motorcycles and the toys. So I never went to the car side of it. I always got to go to all the motorcycle stuff, which a lot more fun, I'll say. At least the crowds are a lot rowdier.
We've been every year for the last 10 and him even longer, and he's taken 2 or 3 vehicles built for it. So I've been to Vegas a lot. Vegas is I miss it. It's been so long. I love Vegas.
Yeah. I know I miss it too. And going back to like my wife and stuff like that, like she went with the first time I ever went, she came with me. It was a very short trip. We actually got delayed in Boston and all sorts of crazy stuff. So it wasn't a really long trip. I needed one autograph for my TNG picture, was Jonathan Frakes, of course. So the only way I was going to see him was in Vegas, obviously. So we went there. And then every year after that, it kind of turned into like me and my son's trip, so my wife was kind of like, you know what, take Blake, you guys do your thing. And, I've done that, but I think this year, if Mike's wife goes, I think that would be a good little,
yeah. So, I mean, my wife has seen every episode of Star Trek. I mean, literally she's watched every single episode. She's actually been to, she's been to 2 conventions with me. But I mean, she thought it was cool when we met people, but other than that, she's like, this ain't for me. Yeah. So we were talking the other night, and my daughter was going to go to Vegas, and I said, okay, well, Blake's not going to go this year. So it would just be you and me and Jamie. She's like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. So that's when my wife was like, well, if Jamie's wife goes, I'll go. and it just became it's become now we got to actually plan this out.
Yeah. I think I'll just do a last minute Hail Mary if I can. Like I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that vaccine and our rollout, but I just wish I had gone the year before. Last time I went was 2017. Because I used to go every year. I went 2005, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14. And then I started not going, and I was like, I miss it so much.
I know. And obviously with COVID too, it's like not, because I had a stretch of like 4 or 5 years where I went, every year almost. And like, it's just, it feels like I haven't been there in forever.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, but I regret the last year Avery Brooks didn't go was like the year I regret not going, because
Oh yeah.
he's like the only captain I don't have an autograph from. So like my wall is very incomplete without that
in-person autograph.
Like a
Mhm.
photo op with the autograph.
Yeah.
Because if you know anything,
man.
if you know anything about me, I'm very like OCD, like everything has to be
You
a
gotta
certain
have
way.
it.
So that's my only regret as far as Vegas goes. But yeah, we're gonna
That's
try
not bad. There's a lot of people who have some big regrets after going to Vegas.
Yeah. So, but it's gonna be nice. So if we do go this year, it's nice, like, because a lot of times in the years past, I was so driven, like I got to get this autograph, I got to get this photo op, I got to complete this. I got now to like not have all that stuff to worry about and just be able to like, you know,
Enjoy.
meet some of the people that I've been interacting with on Twitter, and like,
Yes.
just go to the panels and be able to relax and not be like, oh, I got to go run to this photo op, or I got to go run to this autograph line, which is like how I did it for years.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, so, okay, I got to get this person. Oh, I'm not going to see this person again. You know, so that's not having that piece. That's really what I'm looking forward to with this next convention, you know?
Oh, it was always such a scramble in the beginning because I'd only ever been to those handful of conventions as a child, and it was always a one guest convention. So I saw Marina, I saw Michael Dorn, I saw Nana, and a couple more. And so to go, and suddenly there's this 100-person plus goddamn guest list, and I'm like feeling like I need to get everyone's bloody autograph. Like, you're running around in circles, your feet hurt, and then for somebody who lives in like a rainforest climate and it's dry desert, I'm just, everything's chapped.
Yeah,
my
it's
feet hurt.
120 degrees.
I just want to sit on my butt and have a beer. So it's been like progressively every year less and less happens, even with the number of days that I would attend the convention. Like if I would go, I would only get a ticket to go on like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because those were the people I wanted to see on stage. I didn't need to go the first day or the last day. I knew that at that point I was like, I'm either going to be exhausted or I'm going to finally be able to meet up with my friends, and we just want to hang out at the bar in the hotel, because that's where you see the actors when they're taking a break. That's when you meet people you haven't met and you tell stupid stories and you drink too much. And that's to me become more of the convention, is the family aspect of it. It's so much less about the actual convention.
Yeah. See, and that's the struggle is I used to have to go sometimes all 5 days or all 4, because they'd always stick some random guest that like never comes, you know, like, oh, Whoopi Goldberg's coming, so you got to see her on Thursday or Friday, whatever, you know, whatever it
Wednesday
was.
night.
Yeah. You're like, stupid. Oh, seriously,
you got to change your flight because you were going to come in till,
you know, and you know, and then you hear stories like what happened with Dan trying to meet Cole Meany and stuff like that. It's like, and that's how it was, you know, for so many years, and like to not have that and to be like, you know what, if I get a couple autographs, if I get a, if I get Rebecca Romaine,
we both have the one that we're looking for, and that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else is gravy.
If I get Rebecca Romaine and a couple of the Picard people that I don't have, great. But it's like, I don't feel that pressure to like, do that anymore. You know,
that's the big drive for me to attend this year. Or if I don't go this year, I'll be going next year, no matter what. But it's because I've never seen anybody from Discovery in person, because 2017 was just the news of the show breaking. So they weren't there. And then there was never anything with Picard, and now Lower Decks, and now, Pike and all this. Like, there's so many new people that have joined the universe that I haven't had a chance to see on stage. And it's like, I'm going to go, and it's going to be like the first convention where I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to be running around trying to get autographs and photos with all these people because they're all new. And it's like, I will saving now.
I will say this, the Discovery people, they are some of the classiest, nicest, like Doug Jones. I don't think I've met a person nicer than Doug Jones on this planet.
I've heard. He's like the biggest sweetheart, and he's just so excited to be there and to have that time with the fans, which I think is so rare, and it's nice. And I've heard of other, like, I've heard Jonathan Frakes is very much like that too, but the pressures of the convention and the people who run the conventions. I mean, people get upset sometimes, like some of the actors being like, come on, these people just paid how much money? Like, let me ask them their name and say hi to them. For like, I'm happy to take the time. And it's the people who are doing it that are pushing them. And it's like, this isn't a cattle, like,
right.
It's crazy.
Quick freak story. When I met him, we went down to DC for it. And a girl in line fainted. Like it was just because it was so hot and she hadn't drank enough. She actually fainted in line. And he stopped everything. And he said, we're waiting. We'll let her recover so that she can come up and get what she came for. Because they were just going to send her off to first aid. And he's like, nope, they can do it right here. And he was supposed to go out for, there were like 3 or 4 cast members there. So they were going to do a group photo. And he said, I'm still going to be here. You can wait. The people are going to wait in line anyway. Let them wait. Let's finish this off. And he finished up the line and then he went. And I think he was like 15 minutes late to the picture.
What a guy.
Yeah. You know, it's just like they value the fact that, I mean, 30 years after the show is over, people are still going and paying to see them and get their autographs.
Yeah. Yeah. And that must be so much fun for them. I remember talking to Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating, and they were both like, it was at Las Vegas, and they're like, we love this. No one ever really like recognizes us and stuff. This is the one time we feel like we're celebrities, and this is like so much fun for us. And they totally admitted it. They're like, this is great. Like, why wouldn't we want to come here and spend time with people? Because this is so humbling and exciting. And I was just like, you guys.
Yeah, it's funny though too, because like, and obviously I've met so many of them too. I've met pretty much everybody, and like I always take the approach. I'm almost like the opposite extreme. Like I'm always so nervous that, you know, I never want to come across as like that fan that wants too much from them. That I'm almost like, here, give me my autograph and I'll leave you alone. Kind of. I almost go the complete opposite. And it's funny, like you'll have I always think of like Max Gradenchik when I met him. Like literally, I'm like, all right, here's my autograph, and he like literally was like sitting there like talking to me, and like I took the autograph and I was like ready to go, and he was like, "Where are you going? Where are you going? No, please, you're gonna smudge it. No, give it back to me." He like took my autograph back from me, and like literally like blew it.
Ran a little fan, like,
yep. It was like little air fans, because he's like, no, you can't go yet. We need to talk, and like I don't want to smudge my autograph, and like literally like he wanted that interaction, and like literally I felt like, you know, you've given me what I've come for. I don't want to be too much of a burden to you, you know, and you know, it's great when you have those experiences. Like, you know, I've had great like my Patrick Stewart story, you know, if we have time later on after the show, you know, to have those great experiences, it's awesome. It makes it the whole trip worthwhile, you know, when you have things like that happen, you know.
Absolutely.
Now let's take some time to talk about our friends at Science Division. They have made the world's first interactive Tribble that you can control from your smartphone.
Now, we talk about Science Division during every episode, and we featured J and K Leah for their collection and their business too. As you know, they've put in the time and attention to detail that you would expect from a fabulous and fantastic licensed Star Trek product, right down to the Tribble fur.
So when you download the Section K7 app, you can name your Tribble, you can assign it to a ship, and then, of course, there's the different modes that Tribble can go into, such as at ease, on duty, and watchdog. Watchdog is particularly good because I like to every now and then sneak into Emily's room and grab hers. If she puts it on watchdog, that'll cease to happen. And I might actually have to go out to the website and order my very own. But even though you can have it attack at the push of a button, we all know in the end,
Tribbles are not dangerous.
But you know, Mike, there's more at that Science Division website than just Tribbles. You can also get some nice Science Division gear, and a coffee mug. You also can get an awesome tote bag to fill up all your merchandise and all your goodies when we go back to the convention in a couple weeks. And as an exclusive for our listeners, you can receive $5 off your very own Tribble when you use the code Cyrano. That's CYRANO at checkout.
Science Division. Trouble's never been this fun. And we thank our friends at Science Division for sponsoring this week's show.
Boy, we've like gone way off the the beaten path here, but it's good. It's all good discussion. But so back to the collecting piece. Where do you like, if you were to talk about collecting today, where do you focus your attention directly on? Like, what is like on your radar for collecting today?
The only thing that I'm trying to get more of and search out are, I don't know if you know, you probably know because you do a show about collecting, so you know, the Inner Space toys from the 90s. They're like, you open them up and there's like the teeny little action figures in it. My daughter's got one. Yeah, to me, those are the coolest thing. When I was a little kid, I loved anything that was miniature. And I could never had those. I'd never seen them before when I was a kid. So I saw them like a while ago. I saw one at like the local toy store, and I picked it up because I made terrariums with like air raid plants and stuff. And then I wanted to put I had a bunch of the Star Wars ones. So I had Ewoks. So I was like, I want to make Star Trek terrariums. Mm-hmm. And so I had found one set and I thought this is the coolest thing. And then I found one or two when I was in Texas, but like the packaging was kind of ripped. So one of the little miniature guys was missing, but I was like, I don't care. It's $5. I'll take it. I had the smallest luggage and I had to force so much stuff in that luggage. And then Jeff from the Nerd Trek podcast, he's found a few in LA and sent them to me. And so I'm cool. Slowly, so cool and so nice. And so I'm slowly building up the collection. I've got the medical tricorder, the Cardassian ship, the Borg cube, the phaser, but I really want to get the Enterprise, like the big one, and then it opens up and like.
Do you have the Borg head?
I did. I had, but I don't know if that was Inner Space.
Yeah, that was.
Did a Ferengi head or Worf's head too, and like.
Oh, I don't know. I know that there's the Borg head because that's what my daughter saw it at a convention, and she's like, she's a big Borg freak, so she's like, this is awesome. I want to get that. And same thing. I think it was like $5. So it's like, absolutely. Oh, I'll get that for you. Yeah. And she entertained her. I mean, she was 10, I think, at the time. She sat and entertained herself the whole weekend in the camper with that thing.
That's awesome. So that's the one thing that I'm like specifically like I would keep an eye out for if I'm ever at a store that has just like random stuff. Like when it comes to action figures, I had them all as a kid. And sometimes if I see them like super cheap, still in the package, I'll grab them. Like when I was somewhere in the States, I saw ones I'd never seen before that came with like a DVD. And I was like, what? This is crazy. I've never seen this before. I'm going to get one. And then I'll, that's about it. I mean, I think if I was to go to Star Trek Las Vegas, it would be anything goes, like t-shirts maybe, or apparel I've never seen before, or even maybe jewelry, but yeah.
So now, did you have the Galoob TNG ones and the Playmates, or did you have just the Playmates? Like, do you know which ones I'm talking about?
What was the other one you said other than Playmates?
So the Galoob ones, the ones that came out from season 1. Do you remember? Did you have those?
I'm looking at one right now. I have Riker still in the package. I have maybe like 4 or 5 of the Galoob, but I mostly had the Playmates. Those ones. I had those ones. I had all of the TNG ones.
Yeah.
And then I had half of the Deep Space Nine, and then I didn't like Deep Space Nine when I was a kid. It was too political for me. I was like, I struggled with the show. So that was kind of like maybe season 4 of Deep Space Nine, whatever year that was when I started kind of getting out of Trek a little bit. And then now as an adult, I'm like, that's like the best show ever. My love for Chief O'Brien is keeping me watching Deep Space Nine. So now I think I'm going to start looking for anything Chief O'Brien related.
Oh, cool. Well, the Diamond Select Chief O'Brien comes with a coonskin cap. I'm looking at it right now on my shelf.
Nice. Yeah, I had mostly the Playmates, and I loved them. Yeah, they're so fun, and so many little pieces to step on and lose, and I think the only other thing that I would probably keep an eye out for specifically would be any merchandise from Star Trek: The Experience, because I loved that place and I bought a lot of stuff, and I would always, if I ever saw anything with the logo on it, whether it's like a t-shirt or the stuffed animals, like I still have the Ferengi teddy bear. I'd buy those.
See, I never got to go to Star Trek because, it was almost like I was too young, to travel to Las Vegas at that point before they closed. I do have one of the collector coins from the Experience. Yeah, it's got like the Rio Grande on one side of it, and then it's the Experience. Because I actually have I have the entire set of the Las Vegas gold coins. So,
nice.
I kind of have that coin too, to be part of that kind of that set. But
I think I still have 3 or 5 of the poker chips that they did that were Star Trek, $5 poker chips. And I still have a whole pack of the Quarks bar matches that were free for the smokers.
Oh, wow. So now were you able to go to the Experience?
I was there the year it opened, and I was there like 2 weeks before it closed.
Oh, wow.
I went a bunch of times. I went when I was 16. So I think it was that was 96. So I think it was maybe open for about a year. At that point, there was a big lineup to get into it. And I went again a couple times in my youth before I ever went to because I went to my first convention when I was 25. So 2005. So I went to Vegas maybe like 2 or 3 times before I was 25. So I had the chance to go to the bar just to go and go through the rides, but then to go to STLV in 2005 and like the party would be there. Oh my God, so much fun. Like there's Chase Masterson singing songs in the Quarks bar, and you're going on the rides and you've had too much to drink, and it's like motion sickness almost.
I say that doesn't sound like a good combination there.
It was great. Yeah, it was fun. It was the best place ever, and it's heartbreaking.
So
it still hurts. Oh, fun.
And I never went. My dad went. He had to go out there for a work conference, and right. It was like one of those things where he had to sit there for a day, but he got to take like 4 to go.
Yeah.
So perfect. he brought my mother, and he brought his sister, and same thing. The 2 of them went off while he was in his conference, and then he went to the Experience, and I believe they went to a Barry Manilow concert.
Oh God!
What a combination that was.
Yeah.
Brutal. It was awesome. The ride was so cool. It was. I still think about it, and it still hurts that it's gone. I always like looking on YouTube for the couple of the videos that there are like people have made that worked there, and the documentaries that they did about being there, and some of the behind the scenes, and just like what an experience that would have been to have been one of the people who worked the day it opened, and then to see it closed, and just how sad, especially because now look at the world of Star Trek. Like if you guys just held out, you would be just bumping again. I hope somebody does something else like it again. I think it was. Yeah.
You would think something else similar to that is coming down the pipeline very, very soon. You would think, but we'll, especially with like CBS and Paramount merging again and all that other stuff, we'll see.
We'll see.
So getting back to having to buy stuff that you want. So it doesn't sound like you do a lot of eBay stuff because of the shipping rates type of thing.
I don't like eBay. I don't.
Oh, see, unfortunately, the 2 of us have kind of married ourselves to eBay at this point.
It just seems that every time I find something, it's a great deal. It's $21 and the shipping is like $35, $40. And I can't
see that.
Justify that. It kills me. But
so do you do like flea market shopping when you're out and about looking for Trek stuff? Yeah, there you go.
No, I don't. I'm kind of on a pause right now with my collecting. This is, I think I mentioned this on the Enterprise show, this is the time of year where if I know I'm not going to make it to STLV, I start to mourn and I start to get really sad and I start to be like, I don't like Star Trek. because I'm not going to be able to go. So I don't want to be like, I have to like self-preservation. Like, I hate Star Trek. It sucks. I don't want to do the podcast and I don't want to watch it because I don't get to go to Vegas. But I don't have any room for any more stuff. I've actually put most of my Star Trek stuff away in storage temporarily because my crafting and jewelry making has taken over my space. So until I'm able to steal the office for all my stuff, as in kicking my boyfriend's car stuff out into his garage, it's going to stay in storage and then I'll bring it out. The only thing I really have is all the stuff I've made. Like I've done a lot of embroidery and cross stitch, all the Lower Decks people. And like, I have
those were awesome, by the way.
My Riker right here where he's got the pose. So I keep
great.
all those out. So yeah, I mean, if I was to go junkin right now, I'd probably go hit up the section for the books because the novels are usually always really easy to find and they're like an easy thing to kind of store. But other than that, there's nothing here. Like there's just really not a lot here in Victoria. I would just go to Cherry Bomb Toys for any old toys because they get new stock in. And sometimes I hear about some of the new comic books and I'll go pick up a couple of them to read. But yeah, I think my shopping is saved for the travels because that's where I'm going to find the really cool stuff. Or if I get back to Vulcan, Alberta and get some stuff at their shop.
Nice. So when you do go to Vegas, do you pack like an extra empty suitcase to like load up with stuff sometimes, or?
I don't take an empty suitcase, but I plan accordingly. You know, like maybe a backpack will be folded up empty going there, and then it'll be the carry-on going back. But yeah, it's always a challenge. But I've gotten through some sticky situations before with the shopping, so I have good faith in my ability to pack. It's an art form.
I've had to go to a Walmart and buy a second suitcase on trips because of stuff like that. So not real fun. Yeah.
Like, I think we got to figure out how to smuggle Sarah into Rhode Island, get her vaccinated so we can take her to Vegas. I really think
I know because in Rhode Island,
I just got my second dose.
And my 12-year-old daughter qualifies to get hers now. It's it's incredible.
Yeah. My first one's Saturday, so we'll see how it goes.
Which
slowly but surely.
Do you know which one you're getting?
Pfizer, Moderna, one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the government one. And then if I wanted to go get one right now, I'd get I would have to go to the drugstore and it would be the AstraZeneca. Yeah, those are the three we have. But yeah, we're getting there. It's so painful because it's just like that end, like you seeing you guys like partying and getting ready to like, and we're just sitting here, typical Canadians, just being too polite about it. We should just declare war and come steal all your guys' stuff.
I don't know. We went
hockey sticks.
We went to the store tonight, and even though both me and my wife have gotten both of our vaccinations, we're still wearing masks around here, just because we don't. I'm very distrustful of like what people are like. So
yeah. There's also variants that we might not know about yet. And there's also the fact that it's not 100% effective. I mean, there's no harm in giving it a couple of weeks to really get into the system before you start kissing strangers and, hugging babies or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that, at least not with my wife around anyway. So you mentioned fellow podcasters hooking you up with collectibles. Yeah. So beside Jeff that you mentioned, any other relationships that you've built through people knowing what you like and sending you stuff?
Casey, Mr. Shafsky has sent me some fan set pins, which is now a new thing I don't need to have become an obsession, but because they're so great and I love them, it's fan sets. They're so fun.
This episode brought to you by
fan sets. Their pins have character.
That's right.
And it's totally true. I've also gotten he sent me some costume stuff, like cosplay, like Picard's jacket with the
nice. The leather topped one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the choo t-shirt from Lower Decks. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. And then there's all the perks from CBS too. So those are the things that I've gotten.
Nice.
Swag stuff we all get. Yeah, super fun. But my collection, a lot of my collection that's like my good collection is still the stuff that I have from when I was 10 or 11. Like I still have the first thing I ever got that was Star Trek related. And it was a copy of, I think, the Star Trek Fan Club magazine. And I just loved, like, it has had a little biography about each person from TNG. And I just was like, this is what work looks like for real. And this is what, and I was like, this is the coolest magazine. And I still have it. And I still have old TV guides that were Star Trek from then. And yeah, so most of my collection is still original stuff that I've kept for 30 years.
Yeah, I still have the commemorative magazine they put out for the 25th anniversary. It had like a hollow foil cover to it. And I picked it up in Florida, of all places. I was on vacation. I was like, oh, hey, this is cool. I want something to read on the plane. And
I still have my lanyards from STLV since like 2010, and the bracelets, like the rubber bracelets. And I still have the programs too. I can see one of them right here.
I have all my lanyards too, and all my programs too.
Wool. Got all of them.
All of them.
Oh, I love that accent.
That's the Rhode Island accent.
When you said Boston earlier, I was like, oh my God, I want to go to Boston.
Rhode Island. It's one word, Rhode Island.
We kind of roll our R's, cars, and
Not me. That takes us to our awards section. So our first award is the Kevis Fajo Award. So this would be the collectible that you've always wanted, but you've never been able to add to your collection. What might that be?
The one thing I've always wanted, but I've never added to my collection. I think if it's not the Inner Space Enterprise toy, it would probably be a really, really nice TOS dress uniform. And it'd be pretty cool to have in red.
So like a Dax from Trials and Tribulations.
Oh, so you mean the dress style, not a dress
like
up
a costume.
uniform? Yeah, okay. Because when you said dress uniform, I was thinking like Kirk with his little gold thing down the middle. Okay, I see where you're going.
I'm right,
skirt,
Yes, you are. You are.
Yeah.
So the Dax outfit, right? From Trials and Tribulations. Okay.
There we go.
Could be a horror.
Or a horror, yeah.
Or Rand.
Well, I was trying to. She loves Deep Space Nine, so I was trying to stay on the Deep Space Nine tangent. You know, I do listen. All right, so that brings us to our second award, which is the Grand Nagus Award, right? Another Deep Space Nine reference. So, what would you consider the most valuable item in your collection?
I do have Bill Shatner's autograph. I have quite a few autographs, but I don't have. Some people are so brilliant when they go to the conventions, they get multiple autographs on one item, which increases the value, but I don't. So I think that would be it, unless something that I currently have is like actually worth money and I don't even know it. But I don't think that's the case. So probably just an autograph.
I think that was the same thing I had for mine when I was the guest. Was my Shatner autograph up here. Okay, so that takes us then to the Resican Flute Award. So the collectible that you own that has the most sentimental value to you.
It might be that magazine I talked about that I've had since the beginning, just because I can't believe I didn't get rid of it. And then anything from the experience, because I had so much fun there. So I still, like I said, I still have the Ferengi teddy bear somewhere here, and I'll never get rid of it. I don't care. I'm keeping it. And I have a pen, and it like lights up. Just stuff I like to look at.
Does it still light up?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And I still have my cardboard cutouts of Picard and Kirk. And I've had those since I was little. I gave Riker to Haley, and she
I thought you would have given Wesley
used it in ways she shouldn't have used it, and it got warped, and then I never saw it again. So
I thought you would have given Wesley to Haley.
I never had Wesley. Oh, come on. Perf. I'd like a Chief O'Brien one though. So if anyone knows where I can find
Well, I do have connections. I'll have to look into that one.
There you go. With the iPad.
So you keep talking about Chief. Have you actually met Cole Meany?
No, I haven't. I don't know if that would be a good thing. Fangirl. I'd scream like it was the goddamn Beatles. There's a few of them that I've never met that I know I'd just be like, oh my God. Actually, I wouldn't, but inside I would be. I'd be like, oh my God. I want to say something really inappropriate, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, he's one of those that's like every time it looks like he's going to be there, all of a sudden he cancels because he's busy doing some other project or some other
busiest guy in show business. Yeah,
totally.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
In demand.
Well, Sarah, I want to thank you so much for being with us. This was so much fun.
It was so fun.
And I really, really genuinely hope to see you in Vegas. I know it's like a Hail Mary prayer, but I think we'd have such a blast in Vegas for sure.
Oh my God.
So
I'll buy the drinks.
Where can you be found online, Sarah?
Oh, there's Twitter. That's my main haunt, either through Trek Rewind or Van Island Sarah. No more Facebook.
All right, so we're looking for collectors like Sarah who would like to be featured on the Divine Treasury.
You can also find us on Twitter at divine_treasury, on Instagram with the same handle, and also on Facebook. We can be found popping into and out of Camp Kittimer from time to time. So if you'd like to be on the show, please direct message us on one of these platforms, and please send us pictures or videos.
And you can subscribe to the Trek Geeks Podcast Network YouTube channel, where you will find the playlist devoted to the Divine Treasury, which at this point has 2 videos of Jamie and me showing you stuff that we have, and everything else is episodes. So at some point before the end of 2021, we'll actually post some real videos of collection stuff. But until then, just keep listening to the show. If you enjoy the Divine Treasury, you can subscribe to the podcast by searching for us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also the Trek Geeks Podcast app.
You can also support the Divine Treasury and the Trek Geeks Podcast Network by supporting us on Patreon. Get access to unedited recordings of every episode on the network, as well as other exclusive content and so many other awesome perks.
If you'd like to become a producer on the network or get access to the raw audio, which many people are going to want to listen to this one, head over to patreon.com/TrekGeeks.
The Trek Geeks Podcast Network. No one talks Star Trek like we do. We'd also like to thank 5 Year Mission for allowing us to use their awesome music on this show. Collectors, listen up. They are writing a song for every episode of the original series, and this is not parody music, but it's content based on the show itself. So please go to 5yearmission.net, put some CDs in your cart, because we know in collecting, it's not about the downloadable content, it's about the physical media. So pick up Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, and Year 4, as well as The Trouble with Tribbles and Spock's Brain. Make 5 Year Mission a part of your collection.
On our next episode, we look forward to talking to our friend, writer Jake Black. You will find out all kinds of things that you may know Jake from, but that means you have to tune in to our next episode. Until then, this has been episode 19 of The Divine Treasury. The Divine Treasury, connecting through collecting.
for the Divine Treasury is provided by 5 Year Mission. They're writing an original song for each episode of Star Trek. Hear more of their music at 5yearmission.net. The Divine Treasury is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Coconut.